Welcome to the Reframing Eye Care podcast. I am your host, Dr. Maria Sampoulos. Today's guest is Dr. Ryan Corte. I think many of the listeners know you, Ryan, from social media and your impact in the industry. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Today's topic is sponsored by Bausch & Lomb. We're talking about the importance of contact lenses in any practice setting. Within corporate optometry, there are various models. Today's podcast, we have Dr. Corte that will cover a couple of practice settings and how important contact lenses are within those settings. For those of you that do not know Dr. Ryan Corte, he is the co-owner of North Lake Eye, a multi-location lens crafter sublease practice. He is active optometry speaker, consultant, and an inspirational voice in our industry. You can also connect with him on Ryan Reflects. I follow him, and he's got some great posts and comments, and then also industry stuff, and then also just, family things. He's got some cute kids that makes you smile when you see those posts. So welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I love what you're doing for the profession, but really for us, those of us who are committed to corporate optometry and practicing within or adjacent to a major corporation. I really do appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I mean, you've done a lot in the industry too with, lens crafters, sublease doctors. And, if you can give us, some information on how you practice, what your sublease looks like. And I know you have a modified sublease model as well. Just for the listeners that are interested maybe in a lens crafter sublease.
Yeah, so we'll take a step back in the journey. 2017 was when I took over my first lens crafter sublease. It was and still is a modified sublease location. So we do not have the rights to sell contact lenses at that location, but we have the rights to provide comprehensive care, eye health and vision care, and including specialty services that we dial into as well. And then in 2019, we had the opportunity to acquire our first standard sublease, and then from there in 2021 we acquired two more. And quite frankly, we've really embraced kind of owning everything outside of just the selling of glasses within the optical. And 3 out of 4 stores we can sell contact lenses, 1 we can't. And the partnership has been really strong. Lens Crafters has a very well-known voice across not only the country, but the world. They're a global brand, and they drive a lot of patients that, quite frankly, don't know a whole lot about their eye health and vision care. Or maybe they do, and they're loyal to Lens Crafters into our practices. And then from there, it's our opportunity to kind of seize the moment and win them over.
Excellent. So just give us a little bit of insight on once you started modified sublease, you liked it, and it made sense for you. What would it look like when you wanted to purchase more, just for the listeners that are interested in purchasing a sublease?
Yeah, so we purchased out of our sublease locations, we purchased 1 out of 4, the rights to it. So the other ones were actually sublease locations that somebody was retiring. That was the first one. Somebody was retiring and decided to just walk away. And then we acquired 2 in Asheville, where there was a transition out of their sublease space into a private location. And at that point, the recruiters from Lens Crafters said, "Hey, do you want to move to Asheville, or do you want to drive back and forth?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm not driving back and forth because I'm happily married, and I know that would be a no-go." And so after some long, hard conversations with my wife, we decided to relocate. And I have a business partner, Dr. Rachel Rubel, who resides in Charlotte. And so she kind of holds the fort down over there. But the purchasing side of the equation, there's always, different things you have to take into consideration: the value of the location, the partnership, and obviously the built-up practice, right? And just what are you walking into? And it's unique. It's definitely different than what I know in regards to purchasing a private office. But there are a lot of similarities as well. So everyone's kind of unique on a case-by-case basis.
Of course, yeah. My understanding in the industry is that the lens crafters have more value for purchase than some of the other ones, is what I've heard, I think. For the listeners that are employed, can you speak at a high level of, what an employee looks like within corporate optometry and the benefits of that too from learning in general?
Yeah, when you're an employee within a corporate setting, you're working alongside a lot of times other colleagues that are under the same umbrella, depending on what organization you've partnered with. And you have different metrics, different goals that are coming from the corporation. But at the end of the day, I like to think that all of us went into optometry to serve the eye health and vision care needs of our patients and to help people see, right? And so contact lenses play a huge role in every single setting, whether you're employed, whether you have a modified sublease, or whether you have a standard sublease and have the right to sell. And it really depends on who you're partnering with if you're an employee and that organizational structure and their priorities and their principles. But quite frankly, we are all serving people, right? And so it's small little differences, but the reality is if you're employed in a private office versus a sublease versus a VA hospital or a ODMD practice, you're helping people, right? You're serving people. And so it really depends on who you're reporting to.
Excellent. When did you realize that contact lenses played an important role in your practice, and how did you discover this?
Maria, right away. It was right away. I've always been contact lenses are the reason that I went to go first see my optometrist. I couldn't see well. I got glasses. And at that point, then I was like, wow, I'm very active. And so I want to wear contacts as well. And they were able to, over time, my parents wanted me to prove it first. And so I wore glasses for a little bit. And then sure enough, came back, was fitting contacts. And so I knew right away the benefit of being able to see well without having prescription glasses on your face. But from a practitioner side and from a business side, those contact lens patients are very valuable. We have professional service fees. We have at 3 out of 4 locations the ability to sell contact lenses. And based on even the metrics, right, on average, your contact lens patients return back more routinely than your glasses only patients on average, depending on what modality they're fit in, 12 to 18 months, right? And for contact lens patients. And on the flip side, you're looking at every 2 to 3 years for your glasses patients, unless they're really loyal and really on the ball. So there's a lot of value in providing that service. And I feel like you can truly own it in a sublease setting, and even across the spectrum in corporate optometry. I really do feel like you can own that contact lens experience.
Yeah, I agree with you. How do you prioritize patient and practice needs?
I do feel if you take care of the patient, it's going to help out the practice. So from a patient perspective, I always, I ask them, obviously what brings them in to see me today? How can I serve their eye health and vision care needs? When it comes to contact lenses, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you with the comfort and vision of your contact lenses? If it's anything less than 10, some patients will say, hey, it's 11. I'm thrilled. I don't want to mess with it. Great. If they're in a modality or maybe a product that's been around for a long period of time, I may plant the seed of letting them know about, let's just say, daily disposables or premium daily high contact lenses and how that's kind of where the industry is shifting and evolving to. But I'll still re-prescribe their lenses if that's what they really came in to see me for. On the flip side, if they're anything less than that, we have to focus in on and improving that overall outcome for them. And if you take care of the patient's eye health and vision care needs, if you get them seeing well and they're comfortable in their contact lenses and they can live their life how they want to live, it takes care of the bottom line of the practice too, right? Because you're able to charge for your professional service fees, you're able to justify that. And also, a lot of times it does help with that annual supply capture, taking them to the front desk, transitioning them at the front desk to the front desk sales team, advising them of what that cost would look like with a annual supply rebate that really helps seal the deal. And so it's really important.
Let's dive into that to ensure patient success and things considered, like you talked about, technology, annual supplies. How do you encourage your employed doctors to be involved? How do you encourage the front desk? How do you do all that? And I'm sure, LensCrafters a global brand, like you said, like I'm sure they have advertising. They tell, patients they can do contacts. How do you utilize all those things to ensure success in your practice?
Yeah. So we definitely talk to our doctors about doing what's best for the patient and being on the cutting edge of technology. So if we're not prescribing the latest and greatest contact lens innovation, let's just say a patient came in and they've been wearing a product for 10 years. Yeah. over time they may get tripped up and all of a sudden get it renewed on 1-800 contacts, right? Or a contact lens website that will have them quote unquote skip the line and just get their contact lens prescription renewed. And so there's value across the board, whether you're an employee, whether you're a subleasing doctor that can or cannot sell, to prescribe innovation. Like, for example, one of my favorite products on the market, the Infuse line from Bausch & Lomb, thrilled with the Pro Balance technology, thrilled with the next generation material, Caliphylcon A, and how it pairs well. And oh, by the way, it's available in a sphere, a toric, and a multifocal design now. We've had a lot of success prescribing that innovation and really hitting a home run with the patient, having them experience the lens on their eye, having them understand the features and benefits. And then, oh, by the way, it has a high value rebate that helps drive things home. So to me, it's really important for the doctors to take that home, because even if you're an employee doctor, you still have to worry about big picture of job security, patient satisfaction, the relevance of what are we doing within the profession of optometry, and how do we continue to provide value with the services that we provide. And then oftentimes, if you are selling products, the products too. So that's truly important. On the flip side, though, we incentivize our team to kind of plant the seed about contact lenses. So at our locations where we sell contact lenses, they get a little bit of a spiff if they sell a frequent replacement lens at checkout versus a daily disposable contact lens, which the spiff is higher. And so having a little bit of skin in the game for the staff is important. For the doctors, they have incentives and benefits to offer contact lenses willingly and enthusiastically, and to get patients into daily disposables. So they have some bonus and some metrics that help kind of seal the deal there as well. So there's buy-in across the board.
Yeah, of course. So you touched on this a little bit, but what do you think is like my financial benefits? What are the goals and drivers, and how do you think for your business it's important?
Just across the board. Well, from a sublease perspective, I'll be completely honest. We have to be intentional with the value of our services, right? So practicing optometry at a high level, incorporating medical billing and doing that at a high level is extremely important. Taking any of the subspecialties that are available within optometry and really figuring out what subspecialties fit well within your practice. So, we do specialty contact lenses. We do, the treatment and management of anterior and posterior segment ocular surface disease. We're building out a pediatric protocol and myopia management practice. All of those things you can do within a sublease, a corporate setting, a standard or non-standard sublease setting. And so owning that within optometry, to me, I feel like that is very important. And if we don't do those things, then over time, it's easy for patients to come in and just get a refraction anywhere, right? It's how do you differentiate your practice with some of the latest and greatest innovations and practicing at a high level that really does move the bottom line.
Yeah, I think that your practice must have a really high retention rate, patient coming back every year, just from the things that you're doing to keep those patients in your practice. And I think that's one of the myths in corporate optometry, that patients just come see you one time and then go somewhere else. But just hearing from what you're doing, just compared to other doctors in the country that I talk to, you're doing a lot of medical, you're doing a lot of contacts, you're staying up on the latest technology. And that, I think, retains patients and ultimately helps your practice, your bottom line, but also, your corporate partner, the optical, because you want them to be successful too. So you can have a successful practice. It kind of goes both ways.
Yeah, but I appreciate you saying that. And quite frankly, I feel like our practice has room for improvement. Everybody does. But when you keep measuring over time, you build it out, the system, you take care of the patient, you measure how are you doing, and then you learn from those experiences and make small tweaks to your system or to the technology you have or to what you fitting and prescribing when it's contact lenses, or how are you dispensing at the end of that process, or transitioning the patient to the front desk. All of those things you can learn from over time, and it only improves your ability to provide patient care and retain patients in a competitive landscape, right? In a competitive marketplace where they have options.
They do have a lot of options, these patients. For those that are listening, what advice do you give to your peers who haven't incorporated contact lenses and don't think that, contact lenses have value financially in their practice? And they've kind of given up on that. But I think there's huge value. That's why I wanted to have you on the podcast.
In a corporate optometry setting, right? Doesn't matter doesn't matter how involved you are from either employee or from a subleasing doctor. There's an incredible amount of value in offering contact lenses to every patient that's a candidate. And so the way that we position that in our practice is we have a number of different touch points. We do it with a digital intake form. Actually, first, when they schedule the appointment, they're asked if they're interested in wearing contact lenses. Then with the digital intake form, they are asked if they are going to be fit with contact lenses. At check-in, we ask, oh, by the way, are you going to be fit with contact lenses today? We pull contact lens copays on every patient that comes in for a comprehensive eye exam. And then we ask in the pre-test room, oh, by the way, do we need to remove contact lenses from your eyes today, or are you going to be fit prescribed contacts today? That is a number of touch points before they even reach the doctor. And then our team is coached. And one of the things that I really, drive home in my exam every single time is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I see you're not being fit with contact lenses today. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in wearing contact lenses overall? I'm just curious. And you would be shocked how many times somebody has said no through the entire patient journey. And they're like, I'm a 6. Wait, you're a 6 out of 10 in interest level wearing contact lenses. You said no the entire way through that journey. Why? My question is, so why aren't you a 0? Because the ones that are interested, they will tell you right away, I'm a 0. I don't want to touch my eyes. I don't want to mess with them. They're not for me. Great, we move on. It's a 15-second conversation. Maria, what you'll all of a sudden understand and you'll elicit information that is, I have astigmatism and I told I wasn't able to wear them, or, I also need reading glasses and so I can't do that in contact lenses, or I tried contacts 15, 20 years ago and they weren't comfortable. So never make assumptions, on where patients are in their journey, in their optometric, and if they've seen people prior to you, or even if they're an established patient in the practice, revisit that information. Or even more simply, you could just say, so, hey, by the way, why aren't you doing contact lenses today? And they may give you exactly what I just told you. I have astigmatism, or I wasn't comfortable, or it's a hassle, or it's too expensive. And it gives you that opportunity to plant the seed if they're a candidate on the features and the benefits and the opportunity to do so. So I ask our colleagues to own that contact lens service. And if they have the opportunity to sell, of course, own that process as well. There is a great way. It's a great way to build out the business. There is a financial benefit, of course, but there is really a benefit to improving patients' eye health and vision care needs at the highest level. And so that's my best recommendation for them.
That's great. I just want to touch on so patients as a full-time progressive wearer, let's say, sometimes I'll bring it up, how about a daily lens that you wear for hobbies, weekends, things like that? Do you bring that up too? Okay.
Yeah, I do a lot of fitting and prescribing for part-time wearers and letting them know, especially if they've worn them before, they're like, I don't want to wear them all the time. Fitting for that part-time wear where, hey, they're wearing their glasses during the week, but in contacts during the weekend, or maybe they just want it for a beach trip or to go skiing. That right there is kind of your gateway into getting them into contacts, and then they have the opportunity to try it out themselves. And some people will go from only wanting to wear them a couple days out of the year to half the year, or to a full-time wear. And some people will just stick with that, that couple weeks a year and be happy with it. Doesn't matter. You're providing value in your services, and you're also giving them something that, quite frankly, they may not even thought they wanted, right?
Yeah. You staying up in the latest technology as well, and keeping up and educating patients, right? Maybe they might not do contacts today, but maybe they think about it in 6 months when they are going on vacation that they want to be fit in a daily, things like that. I mean, it's in their mind, right? Sometimes it takes multiple touch points, like you said, to change a mind or change a mindset. But do you also find by being with the latest technology that you have great reviews online and they refer other patients to your practice?
Yeah, and back to the infuse, the fuse line. I love talking about fitting patients in a contact lens that is designed to minimize contact lens related dryness and discomfort, right? There are so many patients out there that they stop. They're unhappy with how they feel in their eyes, or B, they can't see well out of them. Well, if they don't feel well in their eyes, obviously something is taking place. Could be dehydration on the front of the eye. Could be just how the lens is settling, or just the wear cycle throughout the day. It's just not working out for them. A lot of times those two things coincide. And so by planting the seed that we have solutions for today's patients, high level solutions and letting them know that they're a candidate is half the battle. They may say no, like not at this time, but you're right. There may be a point throughout that next year, so let's just say they come back annually, where they consider it. Well, actually, my doctor told me I'm a candidate. It could come up in a conversation with a friend or a colleague. And by planting that seed, you give yourself the opportunity next year and the year after that to revisit that conversation. And all it takes, Maria, is one extra patient a day to really see a huge growth on your bottom line, right? But also to have a ripple effect with the referrals within your patient base. And I like to joke with doctors I talk to, could you imagine being a patient? And it's like we're walking into a department store. Let's just take the patients out of it. You walk into a department store, you're going in for one thing, you walk out with something else. Could you imagine being a patient coming in to get your glasses renewed or to just check on your eye health and vision care, and you walk out wearing contact lenses, not even knowing you're a candidate or not even knowing that there was new innovation within the contact lens space that would work for your eye health and vision care needs?
That's correct. You're right.
That's a win, right? That is a win. They're going to, and especially when it's a positive experience, they're going to walk out, they're going to tell everybody.
That's right. That's right. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast, giving us great insight. Thank you for giving us a little bit of snapshot on your subleases and how you've grown your subleases over the years. It's been great to see, and such a great, advocate for optometry and inspirational voice for young optometrists and optometrists within corporate optometry. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Maria, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you. For anyone that wants to connect with you, they just follow you on social media, or do you have an email if they have questions?
Yeah, sure. Ryan Reflects on social, just my name on LinkedIn. And yeah, my email is Ryan, that's RYAN .Corte, CORTE, the number 1, and that's all at gmail.com.
Thank you everyone for listening.